Melakim 2, 2 Kings chapter 6. And the sons of the Neviim said to Elisha, "See, the place where we dwell with you is too small for us. Please let us go to the Arden, and let every man take a log from there, and let us make there a place to dwell." And he answered, "Go." Then the one said, "Please undertake to go with your servants." And he answered, "I shall go." And he went with them, and they came to the Arden, and they cut down trees. And it came to be, as one was cutting down a tree, that the iron axe head fell into the water. And he cried out and said, "Oh, my master, for it was borrowed." And the man of Elohim said, "Where did it fall?" And he showed him the place, and he cut off a stick and threw it in there and made the iron float. And he said, "Pick it up." And he reached out his hand and took it. And the sovereign of Aram was fighting against Yisrael, and took counsel with his servants, saying, "My camp is in such and such a place." And the man of Elohim sent to the sovereign of Yisrael, saying, "Be on guard, do not pass this place, for the Arameans are coming down there." The sovereign of Yisrael then sent to the place of which the man of Elohim had spoken to him, and warned him, so that he was on his guard there, not once and not twice. And this greatly troubled the heart of the sovereign of Aram. And he called his servants and said to them, "Declare to me, who of us is for the sovereign of Yisrael?" And one of his servants said, "None, my master, O sovereign, for Elisha the Nevi, who is in Yisrael, declares to the sovereign of Yisrael the words that you speak in your bedroom." And he said, "Go and see where he is, so that I send and get him." And it was reported to him, saying, "See, he is in Dothan." And he sent horses and chariots and a great army there, and they came by night and surrounded the city. And the servant of the man of Elohim rose early and went out and saw an army surrounding the city with horses and chariots. And his servants said to him, "Oh, my master, what do we do?" And he answered, "Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And Elisha prayed and said, "Yahuah, I pray, open his eyes and let him see." And Yahuah opened the eyes of the young man, and he looked and saw the mountain covered with horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed to Yahuah and said, "Strike this nation with blindness, I pray." And he struck them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said to them, "This is not the way, nor is this the city. Follow me, and let me bring you to the man whom you seek." But he led them to Shamaron. And it came to be, when they had come to Shamaron, that Elisha said, "Yahuah, open the eyes of these men so that they see." And Yahuah opened their eyes, and they looked and saw they were in the midst of Shamaron. And when the sovereign of Israel saw them, he said to Elisha, "My father, should I smite? Should I smite?" But he said, "Do not smite. Do you smite those whom you have taken captive with your sword and your bow? Put food and water before them, and let them eat and drink, and go to their master." And he made a great feast for them, and after they ate and drank, he let them go, and they went to their master. And the bands of the Aramean raiders came no more into the land of Israel. And after this it came to be that Ben-Hadad, the sovereign of Aram, mustered all his army, and went up and besieged Shamaron. And there was a great scarcity of food in Shamaron, and see, they besieged it until a donkey's head went at 80 pieces of silver, and 1/4 of a cab of dove droppings for 5 pieces of silver. And it came to be, as the sovereign of Israel was passing by on the wall, a woman cried out to him, saying, "Help, my master, O sovereign." And he said, "If Yahuah does not help you, where do I find help for you? From the threshing floor, or from the winepress?" And the sovereign said to her, "What is troubling you?" And she answered, "This woman said to me, give your son and let us eat him today, and tomorrow we eat my son. So we cooked my son and ate him. And I said to her on the next day, give your son and let us eat him, but she has hidden her son. And it came to be when the sovereign heard the words of the woman that he tore his garments. And as he passed by on the wall, the people looked and saw the sackcloth on his body underneath. And he said, Elohim, do so to me and more also if the head of Elisha, son of Shaphat, remains on him today. And Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. And the sovereign sent a man ahead of him. But before the messenger came to him, he said to the elders, do you see how this son of a murderer has sent someone to take away my head? Look, when the messenger comes, shut the door and hold him fast at the door. Is not the sound of his master's feet behind him? While he was still speaking with them, then see, the messenger came down to him, and he said, look, this evil is from Yahuah. Why should I wait for Yahuah any longer? Melakim 2, 2 Kings, chapter 7. And Elisha said, hear the word of Yahuah. Thus said Yahuah, about this time tomorrow a seah of fine flour for a shekel, and 2 seahim of barley for a shekel, at the gate of Shamaron. And an officer on whose hand the sovereign leaned answered the man of Elohim and said, look, if Yahuah is making windows in the Shamayim, shall this word come true? And he said, look, you are about to see it with your eyes, but not eat of it. And there were 4 leprous men at the entrance of the gate, and they said to each other, why are we sitting here until we are dead? If we shall say, let us go into the city, the scarcity of food is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit here, we shall die. And now, come, let us surrender to the army of the Arameans. If they keep us alive, we live. And if they kill us, we shall die. So at twilight they rose up to go to the camp of the Arameans, and when they had come to the outskirts of the Aramean camp, look, no one was there. For Yahuah had caused the army of the Arameans to hear the noise of chariots and the noise of horses, the noise of a great army. And they said to each other, look, the sovereign of Israel has hired against us the sovereigns of the Hittites and the sovereigns of the Mitzrites to come against us. So they rose up and fled at twilight and left the camp as it is, their tents and their horses and their donkeys, and they fled for their lives. And when these lepers came to the outskirts of the camp, they went into one tent and ate and drank and took from there silver and gold and garments and went and hid them. And they came back and went into another tent and took from there and went and hid it. Then they said to each other, we are not doing right. This day is a day of good news, and we are keeping silent. And if we wait until morning light, then wickedness shall come upon us. And now, come, let us go and inform the house of the sovereign. And they came and called to the gatekeepers of the city and informed them, saying, we went to the camp of Aram, and look, there is not a man or a voice of a man, only horses tied and donkeys tied in the tents as they were. And the gatekeepers called, and they informed the house of the sovereign inside. So the sovereign rose up in the night and said to his servants, let me now inform you what the Arameans have done to us. They know that we are starving, so they have gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, when they come out of the city, we shall catch them alive and enter into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, please, let some take 5 of the horses that are left in the city. Look, they are like the entire crowd of Yisrael that are left in it. Look, they are like the entire crowd of Yisrael left from those who are consumed. So let us send and see. They then took 2 chariots with horses, and the sovereign sent them in the direction of the camp of Aram, saying, go and see. And they went after them to the Yarden, and look, all the way was littered with garments and weapons which the Arameans had thrown away in their haste. And the messengers returned and reported to the sovereign. Then the people went out and plundered the camp of Aram. So a seah of fine flour was for a shekel, and 2 seahim of barley for a shekel, according to the word of Yahuah. And the sovereign had appointed the officer on whose hand he leaned to be in charge of the gate. But the people trampled him in the gate, and he died, as the man of Elohim had said, who spoke when the sovereign came down to him. And it came to be as the man of Elohim had spoken to the sovereign, saying, 2 seam of barley for a shekel, and a seah of fine flour for a shekel at this time tomorrow in the gate of Shamaron. That officer answered the man of Elohim and said, Now look, if Yahuah is making windows in the Shamayim, is it according to this word? And he had said, Look, you are about to see it with your eyes, but not eat of it. And so it came to be for him, for the people trampled him in the gate, and he died.